It's time for another Eastern Conference Open bracket to close and another team to make their way into the closed conference qualifiers, which is starting in just about 2 weeks' time. We're getting very close to it and even closer to seeing who's going to be our next two teams making it to LAN. But once again, we've got someone joining me here on the desk this evening. It's Stokes. Once again, welcome back.
Hi, I haven't got to cast on Thursday just yet. So excited.
That's right. Yeah, it's your first time doing an Eastern.
Well, for this stage.
Yeah.
Last stage we had it flip-flopped. So now we're back where I'm supposed to be.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
As you're here on the East Coast once again, we've got some interesting matches to show off for this evening. It's going to be a fun one as usual, folks. We've got a good mix of pro teams and new guys stepping up to the plate once again. Some returning team names as well, so we can take a look at the schedule and see who exactly is going to be doing it. Speaking of some of those returning teams, we've got one in our first match. It's going to be S7ven Spades going up against Chips. I'm just going to say Chips and Guacamole. They've got Chips E Guac. So
Chips A.
Yeah.
Chips
technically we've got the Spanish, verbiage or whatever you want to call it coming into the flow.
I date a Mexican girl, so I kind of have to know, right?
Yeah.
This is how that works. But we got Dark Zero and Rise Nation as well. So it's going to make for a very interesting night, especially with the return of S7ven Spades, or S7 AIDS, as Ellie was saying.
S7ven Spades.
Yeah, Ven Spades, or however Ellie was saying it the last time.
I got to work on the spelling a little bit, but we want to be encouraging you guys to be signing up for these tournaments as well. They're open cups, at least leading up to next weekend. So be sure to head over to the website right here at the bottom at play.r6usnationals.com, where you can find all the information you need on how to sign up, get a team started, join a roster, or just follow the league and all your favorite teams. Like we said before, Stage 2's Open Cups are going to be closing starting next week, and we'll enter the closed qualifier portion of the stage. But Stage 3 is also going to be starting relatively soon, right in the middle of September. So you'll have more chances to jump in and qualify through the Open Cups once we move to Stage 3 as well.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys can make sure you use that hashtag R6USN. We'll put it right here for you. Make sure you use that on Twitter. Share us with anything. It can be a clip or what have you, but nonetheless, very, very informative. If you guys could give us some information on what your thoughts are so far on the R6USN.
Yeah. So with that out of the way, we can take a look at the rosters for these two teams and see who exactly is going to be stepping up to the plate for tonight. S7ven Spades, if you caught their appearance a couple of weeks ago, the roster is going to be relatively the same as what we saw a few weeks back. They do bring a new player into the mix, though. Noski Means, Sonar, and Motive are returning from the last game, but Throw is going to be new. He was swapped out for Carlito, who played in their last match. Unfortunately, didn't have the greatest performance, though, so it looks like they have swapped him out for a new player.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to see once again. I think that their matchup against Chips and Guac, depending on the map, I think it's going to be extremely close. But again, one of these teams has to go up against either Rise Nation or Dark Zero. Now, Dark Zero has had quite a few games trying to get through to the final stage of R6USN, but they really haven't come up on luck. So one of these guys might play devil's advocate, but we're going to get Chips and Guac up on the screen for you guys now. So it's Temper, Rudy, Billboard, Six, and Zest. So a couple of teams that we've seen these guys on prior, but now they're going to form to get the Chips and Guac going on.
Yeah, we'll see how well they face off against S7ven Spades. Obviously, as the team names continue to be pretty interesting here from a week-to-week perspective, and this one's no different.
Well, what was it, ZQWE with the cow and a tire?
Like the cow that was had a tire stuck to it or something like that. Like, we had another, their opponent had a pretty funny name too in that match the other day, if I remember correctly too. So
yeah, we love your guys' very creative team names. We really appreciate it. It brings some light to the desk and obviously makes us laugh. So we really appreciate it once again.
In terms of the maps, there's not much tape on these teams, so we don't know particularly where this could end up swinging towards. We can take a look at the veto here in just a moment and see what is going to be the case and which map we're going to end up on. It's just a best of one, so no need to dilly-dally with the pleasantries. Let's see where we're going to be jumping into, because we don't actually know tonight.
I was going to say Coastline, not going to lie. I was going to say Coastline. I thought the curse would continue.
That would be a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
Given recent history.
Exactly. But we're going to be going to Consulate, which overall, I think it's extremely competitive, especially with younger teams. It's just more or less how you want to handle things. We see some teams take very complicated ways of handling it, like their top attacks handling yellow, which is, on the pro level, is a really, really good thing, and it opens up a lot of the upstairs site for you to take control of, but otherwise we see people handle admin first. I'm very interested to see what they're going to try and dictate as their play to start things off with this map.
A lot of different options to choose from in terms of ways to attack sites. Like you were saying, you've got yellow and admin to play with for that first site, but yellow becomes a very important piece of the puzzle for almost every single site on the map, save for one or two of them. And then from that point forward, you have other kind of key hot spots that teams spend a lot of time trying looking to get through as well. So we'll be seeing how this pans out. As a quick reminder, folks, it is, once again, just a best of one. So one map loss for either team, and the other is going to be eliminated for the week, and we'll have to see them return the following week in the next open qualifier if they still want to make it through into the regional closed qualifier, which will be starting, like I said, in just about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, they can join the Dark Zero and Rogue train with just repetitively trying USN over and over and over again. It'll be great. We'll just continue on this cycle till something finally gives.
I mean, Rogue's case as well, right?
Yeah.
They've been having the same problem.
Oh, my God.
Rogue
and Dark Zero.
Recently,
even Rise Nation, I believe.
Yep, no, Rise has actually had problems making it to even like the semifinals. Like, to be fair, Dark Zero's had probably just as much trouble, but Rise was trying it back in stage 1 too. So was Dark Zero, if I recall correctly. Neither team could make it to the semifinals in stage 1.
Apparently the USN teams are just insane. Apparently you guys are just really good at this video game, and we just have no idea and just keep undercutting you, so we apologize about that.
It's the fact that it's best of one certainly helps things too.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's
a lot more chance for chaos.
It's really a given in any esport that a best of one, unless like you're talking like a really long form match, like a MOBA or
like
something like that.
Like a Swiss format or something like that.
Well, I mean, just like you know, any type of best of one. Unless you're talking about like a MOBA where the matches are incredibly like long form.
Well, even then, those are snowbally.
Yeah. So.
Like there's not a MOBA out where you know, if you're down by like a certain amount, certain margin of like gold or something, like you are just completely screwed.
Yeah.
You know?
So there's always that kind of comeback potential in games of Siege, and not only that, but you know, you have a lot of like individualistics that will play. I don't even know if that's a word, but they'll play into. They'll end up playing into these matches a lot more because they're a best of one when compared to a best of 3 series, where a more experienced team might be able to get like kind of a lock on how a certain team plays over the first map if they were having issues, and then adjust that over maps 2 and 3. You don't really get that opportunity here since it's primarily best of one. So you have to come into the gates kind of knowing your opponents. That, I think, is the struggle that a lot of the pro teams have had coming into USN, is that they may not have been totally aware of what their competition looked like going into that matchup, and kind of got surprised by some of the individual skill that was thrown at them. And that's I think happened quite a few times already.
Yeah, I think adaptation in these kind of games is extremely difficult because you really don't have time, like as you said, to adapt to a certain playstyle. You kind of have to feel it out in the first couple rounds and just hope for the best.
7 lost rounds, that's it.
Yeah, with a lot of these teams, especially at the higher level, they more or less have set ways of how they want to handle things. And when they can't complete that, or they're trying to throw something else to handle the situation at hand, and then the other team obviously just flips the script and just continues to show new things, it makes it very, very difficult in best of ones. Not to say that it's a bad format, it's just that, it gets very difficult for teams that are so used to like, okay, Rogue plays this way, okay, Dark Zero plays this way, okay, LG plays this way, so on and so forth.
It's not something you can prepare for as easily when compared to like a longer, like I said, more like, because this is like essentially a lot of very small tournaments over a very long period of time is the best way to describe USN, where something like Pro League is much more like long form, whatnot. You kind of know who your opponents are for a period of like 6 months or so, whereas in this tournament, you kind of like don't know who your opponents are going to be until like 2 or 3 days beforehand.
No time to prep.
You got to do a little bit more work, like in actually getting prepped for these teams, because the rosters like change on a weekly basis too, if you've been noticing for some of these rosters.
I think the main thing is just play your game, because as you were actually just saying, like a lot of the times it is just, pickup teams where people are just like, hey, I'm good at the game, you're good at the game, we got 3 other friends that are good at the game, let's try and get a roster together for USN, and then they make it up to the desk. And, sometimes they surprise us and sometimes they flop, but I mean, besides that, we've already had a lot of pro teams, as we were saying, that have come through and been surprised by a lot of you guys. And again, just with especially with the younger playstyle of being more aggressive, it punishes a lot of teams that are rigid, and Dark Zero is definitely a very rigid team, and they're trying to fix that right now. We'll see if they fix it on the desk tonight, but they're going to be going up against a former pro roster as well. Granted, they're going to be missing a few components of that pro roster, but I'm going to assume you guys are really, really going to enjoy what they picked up, especially Factor. Factor is... he's a different monster. If you didn't know that the land that you and I actually casted in, bless you.
Not the mute button, we're good. Thank you.
If you didn't know, at the Vegas Minor, Pharaoh might have been truly insane, but A Factor actually had the highest rating out of anyone there.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
1.84.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
So
it's not a 1.84. I'll actually pull up the stats for you guys right now so we can have the exact number. Beauty of the tablet. So I'll get that up for you guys in just a second.
In the meantime, we've got another cool little contest that we're running throughout the course of the season as well. Be sure to send out your clips to us, and be sure to be using the hashtag Venmo Community Spotlight when sending us those clips, as that is going to give you an opportunity to win some cash on a weekly basis presented by our friends over at Venmo. A big shout out for them. If you want to find out more about this competition and how to enter, check out some of the clips, be sure to go head over to this link down below at esl.gg/Venmo-R6 USN, where you can find out all the information you need on how to submit clips and see how you may be able to win a weekly cash prize. We'll be revealing the winners on our Monday Inside the USN show. To be sure to check that out to see which clips won every single week from this point forward.
So I was correct that he was the top. Psycho was the second from Ninjas and Pajamas. He had a 1.3. Factor had a 1.34. He was the highest rated player at the entire Allied Major, and they didn't even make it to the actual bracket stage. That was the bottom 8 teams. So very, very impressive that over that amount of maps, he had a 1.34. But that's going to be for later. We're saving the good stuff for last. Maybe this match might be very, very impressive. Again, it's teams that we really don't have that much information on. I don't like undercutting teams, especially when I haven't casted them before or seen them on the desk. So I'm very interested to see what they're going to bring to the table. It seems that every time that we cast these newer teams, Blue, they always bring something new that we haven't seen before, like with the Pittsburgh Embers, where they were really, really good with their execution utility and just their utility management overall. But you can always find kind of some holes punched in each team that are lacking some area, and I think that we do a pretty good job of bringing light to that as well. So
yeah,
again, it's going to be interesting to see what exactly they're bringing up against each other.
We'll be figuring that out hopefully in just a few minutes, guys. We do apologize for that little bit of a delay. I think we're working on getting some of the players into the server and just starting the game off that, because I just want to make sure we don't have everyone on the server before we jump in game. So we're just waiting on that, and then we should be able to start in a few moments, guys. In case you weren't with us earlier, we have another match coming up as well a little bit later. But in the meantime, we've got our community vote. You've heard enough about what we think of the matchup, and here's what you thought. 7ven Spades has the advantage, although only slightly, only by about 10% overall here at 59 to 41%. So quite a few of you out there thinking that Chips E. Guac are going to have a chance to steal this one as well. And
I think that's the closest one we've had all season.
We've had a couple like 40, 50%ers, I think. So that one, though, very, very close indeed. But it is now ready, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be jumping into Consulate here. So let's see who comes out on top. Best of one, as always, 7ven Spades up against Chips E. Guac, with the winner moving on to face off against either Dark, Zero, or Rise.
All right. Well, 7ven Spades, again, has already been on the USN desk, but this time around they're going to be starting on offense. And that being said, Chips and Guac going to have the first ban here. On Consulate, regularly speaking, you're going to have Nomad ban, Capital ban, possible Blackbeard ban on offense, or, of course, if they hate Lion, we're going to want to pull him away as well. Defense, Mira's obviously rudimentary, as well as Mira's obviously rudimentary, as well as Maestro and Echo. But on Consulate, you'll see the Valkyrie get removed. I've been correct throughout this entire thing. So with that, last one, Valkyrie, I'm saying, we'll see exactly what they want removed. But those are going to be my calls for defense. The first three pretty easy. The last one, we'll see if it happens.
Well, let's see. We got the defense bans coming out now. Obviously, Nomad and Blackbeard being removed as our attacker bans. And defender bans going to come up onto the board. Now these should be...
Oh, Pulse. Okay. No, not a bad ban at all. Not a bad ban at all. Pulse is really good on Consulate because he can see through literally every single floor from the basement. So Pulse can play extremely safely, as well as get all the information for his team on every floor except the roof.
Can't save his teammates, however, from being disconnected. So that last band's going to come in. Echo is going to end up getting knocked out, and we're probably going to need a second here real quick. As you can see, our observer's already ready to throw the rehost in, so it's going to take just a moment or two to reset the lobby real quick now that we have lost a player. Once again, we do apologize for any delay from that one, but we're going to work on getting Zest back into the server as quickly as possible and resuming the match, more than likely with those same bands coming out.
Yep, it's going to be the exact same bands coming out. But now we know what's banned. There's going to be a Maestro on the field. There's also going to be a Mira on the field. And the big one for me, there's going to be a Valkyrie on the field. Valkyrie on this map in particular, there's so many areas to put cameras, especially over on the console office side. There's a tree you can put them in. She works really, really well with this map. Any map that you can possibly find a bunch of things, stick things to outside with trees or like skyscraper, all that kind of stuff. Granted, it's not even the competitive cool, but it's still in ranked. Any of those kind of maps, Valkyrie really thrives on. So Consulate's going to be no different. So we might see some creative Valkyrie cams here, as well as we regularly see Valkyrie when she's unbanned anyways, because a lot of people that are extremely aggressive like her, because they can feed themselves information and don't have to rely on their teammates, and they can cover the areas of the map that they wish to the most. So we might see some cameras that are played more aggressively, play them inside, play them close to where your Valkyrie is going to be roaming, so that she can feed herself information and win those gunfights for practically free. She just has to obviously win it out in the end, which that MPX makes it a little bit more difficult, but she's got a very powerful utility behind her.
IQ is still left unbanned, however, so IQ is more likely going to be picked quite often by the attackers as a result of that and due to the prevalence of Valkyrie. So hopefully some of those outside cams, as they're usually chucked in they're usually chucked in the same general area for the most part. So as long as the IQ knows, as long as the IQ knows where to look, that outside camera is going to get dealt with relatively quickly, and then we'll just have to see from that point forward what else she's able to deal with. Thankfully, IQ is not going to be super quintessential. You don't have like the pulse to look for on her as much as you would normally as well, so that issue is going to be knocked out. So we might see a few runs without the IQ, but that'll depend on how the attacking team's play style wants to work its way into things on a kind of round-by-round basis too. We'll see how all that plays out when we get in-game.
Yeah, I think the other one to really notate on the offense, at least, is going to be Gridlock. She's been left unbanned, but again, it's more or less a dual effort to get rid of both roam protections, which is going to be Nomad and Gridlock. So we've seen her quite a bit inside of professional play, especially with the AUG A3, which we've been seeing get played a lot more than the M249 saw. The thing's basically a laser beam, man. You really don't need to control recoil on it, whereas the M249 saw has a little bit, but obviously it has that bigger magazine, carries 60 bullets. But people have been favoring the AUG recently, and I really can't blame them because that gun is fantastic, as well as having the tracks to be able to lock down staircases, especially on Consulate. I feel like we might see some play with her tonight on this map.
Yeah, basically have to pick the greater evil right now between Nomad and her, because if you let, especially on Consulate, it seemed like if you let both stay in the pool, like,
oh my God,
you just immediately cut off any pressure that comes from any different direction besides where you're pushing.
We had Rogue use that setup. We had Nomad Gridlock setup on Consulate, and it was insane. Like, but a roamer could literally not exist.
Oh, because I mean, there's you've got so many of it. Like, those track stingers are not easy to deal with necessarily because they make a lot of noise even if you melee them. So it's not like you could just sit there and like slowly whack your way through the field
15.
of them.
You can make 15 of them.
So ideally, you got to knock out like 8 or 9 of them to clear a path through, maybe more than that, depending on how tight it is. And then you have to, if Nomad was left unbanned, you have to watch out for those things as well. So,
it's just a very bad situation.
Like, it's going to take you like 2 minutes just to clear everything, basically, get into a position where you can actually get a kill, and by that point, like, the round's already over, probably, so, and you would have been needed elsewhere.
So I've been thinking about it. I think that the only real counter that they have is impacts. But a lot of the time, impacts are saved for rotates at the beginning of the round. So you might just need to pull Vigil. Just go, I got impact grenades. I'm going to save 1 impact grenade so I can possibly clear the track stingers and the air jab. But obviously we have Nomad banned. So to clear the track stingers and make it to where I can rotate. But again, impacts are still extremely noisy. So they obviously know that you're coming.
Yeah, and that's going to be, and that like kind of defeats the point of the roaming game at that point, because now they just look in his direction and kill him essentially when he finally makes the push. So even the impact trick isn't really a be-all end-all for countering things out. So it's going to take a little bit here for I think the roamers to figure out how to work around that play style. Is obviously just 2 patches in a row we've had operators added in that don't like roamers.
Just get a ladder.
Yeah,
just get a ladder.
Just go on the roof.
Yeah,
just. Maybe we'll get a defender with repel,
Oh my God, no, stop. Stop giving them ideas, Blue. We don't need it. We don't need it.
Still gives you the warning, so it's not really effective. You just immediately get noticed as soon as you actually get on repel because the animation takes like 5 seconds.
We're going to have a defender that can't be marked outside for like 30 seconds. He's going to be a 3 armor 1 speed with repel option.
It's like a Vigil,
sniper.
Vigil, but he has like anti, noted, like outside noticing tech or something like that, so... That'll be a fun one. But here we go, folks.
Hey, we're back in.
So once again, we do apologize for that little bit of delay getting things started, but we are here now, and we are getting started with this matchup. Once again, if you weren't with us previously, it's S7ven Spades going up against Chips Guac. And we are going to see a start on Archives Tellers. USN always throws us these interesting site choices to start off with, and this one's going to be no different.
Yeah, it's always a good time when you're going to the split site first things off, and it's going to be a lot easier for them because they have the Mira. If they didn't have the Mira, then this site's pretty tricky, but since they are going to have the option of the Mira, it makes it a little bit easier. Especially, with the split site, it's always weird where people dedicate different utility. Like, we actually had a really weird setup at DreamHack where Vitality put all of the reinforcements upstairs, all of them, every single one, and then they all just played downstairs instead. Like, the round started and everyone just rotated downstairs. And I'm just going, oh, okay, so what's the play behind this? And I literally asked Bibu about it, and he goes, oh, it was more or less like a fallback strategy, but we just abandoned it super early on, and they just wasted a bunch of time, so it worked out anyways. I was like, oh, okay. So this site's really weird for that kind of stuff, because it's different pertaining to team.
We're going to see how exactly Chips is going to try to play into this one on defense. Got them all lined up now. Rudy's actually going to put a pretty active defense on admin too by placing one of the mirrors upstairs and giving the softballs a little bit of room to fire out against anyone from S7ven Spades that tries to get in here. Of course, you've got the IQ in play, so we'll be looking for those Valkyrie cams that might have got thrown at the beginning on this site. Might not have seen anything too aggressive though. Motive just going to pop out the wood reinforcements there on the upstairs balcony and try to start droning things out here towards admin and the rest of the upstairs portion of the map.
S7ven Spades going to start handling the upstairs first, which isn't a bad idea. Trying to get rid of the mirror, which he's already abandoned ship. Rudy's all the way down by the bottom of the spiral stairs. We do still have Zest at the top of admin stairs, but quickly going to abandon that as well. Actually, no, he will rotate back in, so Motive could catch the man slipping at the top of the staircase pretty soon. Actually, there's going to be a castle barricade dedicated to there. He's going to get shot from underneath on the admin stairs as well, as you can actually rotate down that staircase, catch a nice angle underneath the castle, and deal quite a bit of damages. Motive will lose 50 HP over here inside of the theater.
Sonar trying to work his way back in, closer to piano room area as well. Not going to be able to work forward just yet, however, as things are being slowed down a bit for S7ven Spades now that they've gotten second story control and are working to get towards the actual site. Tiny little angle here given to throw. He's going to be able to knock out about half the HP from the castle. Doesn't get the kill though, so castle will fall back down to the basement and stay safe, at least for now.
All right, well, they do have the Thatcher inside of Tellers waiting on the rest of his teammates. He's just holding the staircase. Chips and Guac are desperately in need of someone to rotate right now, but it appears that only pertaining idea that they have is to just sit downstairs and wait out the storm. But no, Temper's going to claim the first kill. That'll be Motive. That was the IQ that got lit up earlier on, as Temper did rotate up the bottom spiral stairs. So this is a good first initial pick. Sonar starts putting the diffuser down, but obviously no pulse. So this is more than likely going to go through, as they have no information. And yes, it will be confirmed. So now it's going to be a battle up the staircase or rotate clear across the map.
Not a lot of easy ways here for Chips to try and work their way back upstairs either. They're gonna have to go for the long rotate over towards yellow, it seems like, or spiral, and it's not working out too well. Already Throw has been picked off in the attempt to work his way back up there. Noski along with Sonar trade that right back, however. The attack goes back into a great position as Mean also gets himself a double. Down to only Billboard, who, yes, he's rotated back upstairs, but there's nothing really to be found up here except for Noski, who's gonna be able to finish him off and pick up the opening round here for S7ven Spades.
S7ven Spades handled this beautifully, actually, taking the top floor initially, and granted they did get a little bit of damage early on the IQ, but it was all for naught at the end of the day because they all rotate downstairs. They don't rotate early enough to stop Chips and Guac from getting the diffuser down, and they were really just leaning on one black eye cam inside of the teller's office, and you really can't lean on that for all the information in the world, because then you end up with stuff like this. The diffuser goes down for free, you nitro cell the wrong spots, and then you're in a whole world of trouble. And Chips and Guac just found out about that, leaving Billboard up to a 1 versus 3, and really it was going to be all for naught anyways. Even if he did kill the buck, there really wasn't any time on the clock for him to do much.
All right, so moving up now to the second floor for the second round. Chips and Guac is not going to stick with that same site and try to play into it again. We are going to see a 6 pick on the attacking side too, deeming that IQ may not be as necessary on this site, which actually might be a bad call. They're going to bring Gridlock into it, so that camera from the Valkyrie might be able to sneak its way out, but as you will have noticed, well, we don't get a Valkyrie this time off the defense, so thankfully that's not going to be as much of an issue. Good counter pick there from S7ven Spades, and now they can counter the roam presence a little bit better without actually having to worry about any electronics detection. It's actually a pretty good call. So let's see how the second story faces for Chips and Guac, and if it's going to work out a little bit better for them this time.
Hopefully it does, because that oh man, how do we even describe that first one, Blue? I'm trying to think of any adjective to use here besides terrible. Like, again,
Boxed in.
I think the main thing right now is that they abandoned it too early on, that upstairs area. You need to try and force S7ven Spades to fight for map control, instead of them just rappelling into a window and going, oh, hi, I'm here, and you go, oh, no, don't touch me, and then you just run away. Like, that's not very good. This game is based off of map control, map pressure, and utility, and you guys are giving up one of those, or actually quite a few of those, for absolutely free. So I think if Chips and Guac can get a little bit more aggressive on their defensive side, then things are going to work out for it. And I think initially shifting Temper over to Jaeger to where he has a better weapon might help that out, because he was literally the only man to have a frag on the entire team.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of just got scared almost by drone presence alone, because they were still holding players at stairs. Like, they had good control of Visa stairs on both floors for a lot of that early round. But yeah, as you said, gave it up upstairs without really much resistance at all coming in from the attackers. They were able to get it very easily. Noski, in the meanwhile, is actually allowed to walk all the way up yellow. There's pretty much zero resistance in the air run here from Chips. They're going to try to put a lot more of an active defense from the inside of the console site, but as you can see, the attackers are still being allowed to move through this relatively easy. The box setup is here on the other side, but Mean is going to be able to take out 6. He also found Rudy a couple seconds before this, so it's not really stopping the attackers. They're still making good progress, and it seems the decision to leave Yellow relatively unguarded may come back to bite Chips and Guac here if they don't figure out a counter real soon.
Yeah, I really don't like how they were trying to play that long angle into the yellow staircase with an SMG-11. Again, that kick can really, really ruin your day, but other things can ruin your day as well, as Nosk is going to soon find out. But nonetheless, we are going to start getting Diffuser down now. Assess is trying to find that backpack, but he definitely can't. That'll be a triple kill for Mean. Still playing the windows, the exact same spot, but no one's been able to contest so far. It's left up to Zest as well as Billboard to try and find something here, as Mean's going to continue to rotate up yellow stairs. But things have all been set up, and Mean's going to continue with the quad kill. Can he get the ace with a quick shot? And there it is! Mean with all 5. Collects 3 off the window, rotate up yellow, get the other 2, put him in a bag, and that's going to be all she wrote for round number 2. Also, it's the F90, not the AUG. It looks like an AUG, but it's an F90.
It has that, like,
AUG. I thought it was an AUG. That's my bad. I don't play her that much, and when I do play her, I use the M249, so apologies, chat.
It's an Aussie AUG. It's upside down.
Yeah. Don't set me on fire, chat. I love you guys, okay? I hope we've become friends over this this period of time on USN. But nonetheless, it's going to be the F90, and again, the reason a lot of people are using that now is it's literally a laser beam. We're going to see Motive use it again. I'm very interested to see if Mean can possibly just frag out the entire team again.
I mean, like, all credit to Mean, of course. Really nice ace. He was kind of, like, gifted a bit of positioning. Like I said, they just, like, no resistance on yellow at all. They just walked up yellow in the first, like, 20 or 30 seconds of the round. You don't see that happen too often. And unfortunately, Chips and Guac thought they would have been able to hold it on long angles. You saw, like, they had a setup for it. Like, they had reinforcements, portable barricades and everything going towards long desk and whatnot, but it just didn't really work that much, to be honest.
Their only resistance was Rudy with an SMG-11 playing behind the desk. Yeah. And then Mean just rotates up, rappels up the building and then shoots him in the side of his head. Like, okay, so why are you going to try and play a man inside of office when you have no contention for the windows? You have no one playing yellow. Like, the regular yellow hold is put a Jaeger there with 3 ADSs, or have him just ADS trick where you put him on the ground repeatedly, trying to account for grenades, and put a bunch of barbed wire to where they can't push up immediately. And it appears that Chips and Guac are not in the same category of wanting to hold down that area. They're going to go back upstairs, though, so we'll see if they have a different idea, and Nosk will confirm it for us as he's starting to rotate in at the bottom of yellow.
It does look like they already changed their setup quite significantly into something more akin to what we're kind of used to on this site, so they've realized their mistake. They're working on correcting it now, but again, still a little bit nervous with the way that these first 2 rounds have started out, relatively one-sidedly in the favor of S7ven Spades. So if we end up with the same thing again, this could just be an easy 3rd round for them, but obviously we don't want to count our chips before they're on the table, so let's see how exactly this goes. Yeah.
I like the pun. Anyways, Motive's going to use his track stingers to actually lock down and isolate this side of the map. He put one at the bottom of yellow, another one inside of benches, and one in antechamber or the connector for the downstairs site that connects piano as well as lobbies. So very good use on those track stingers to try and isolate the side, make it hard for any roamers to try and come up yellow. Now they have to try and deal with yellow, though, and currently it's a dual effort between throw and making sure that ADS is burned. A little bit of a mishap on the nade. Nosk's going to take a little bit of damage. Nitro Cell to land on the landing, but only deals a short amount of damage to throw.
That's an interesting bounce. So we'll see.
Okay.
That took a minute of spraying, but Throw is indeed going to get the trade off of that. Zest, of course, did manage to pick up their Thatcher a second before, and we've got Zest kind of caught in an awkward spot now, and there's going to be the jump out for Motive to take him down. Zest, so much promise, and he nearly killed Noski, too. You can see that's where the damage came from, was on the dock right there, but no cigar on getting the actual kill. So his run is for naught, and we end up with S7ven Spades at the man advantage again.
You gotta feel for for Zest in that situation right there. This is not very good, and it ended by a man just hurtling himself out a piano window to quickly claim the life of Doc. 50 seconds left on the clock, though, for S7ven Spades to possibly do something. They're man up right now, but quite a bit of damage dealt to everyone. As someone is still downstairs inside of the piano. I believe that's Rudy on the mute as he lays down behind the carcass here as it's been shot through. Billboard and Rudy, both with SMG-11s to claim 2 lives. And actually take man count and Rudy. Oh my God, man. That's going to be 2 for him on the round. And that SMG-11 doing absolute work. Motive needs to rotate up yellow. Tries to claim him and he will, but he still has 2 to find. Man playing close with an M590. It's going to be Billboard to answer the call. And that's going to be Chips and Guac's first round.
So, Chips and Guac switched to a more kind of traditional upstairs defense, along with Rudy, getting really aggressive at the end there. He wasn't in piano prior to that final yellow stairs push, and he kind of snuck past the attackers in order to get into that position, which ended up really being a saving grace. He caught 2 more trying to work their way up the yellow stairs. Then it was left down to just the gridlock at that point, who didn't really have positioning in order to do anything else. So, a much better shutdown there from Chips and Guac on the second story, and now they get to go down to the garage for one of their final rounds here as we enter the second half of their defensive half.
Also one of my favorite rooms on the entire map, cafeteria, because I like to be lethargic and watch Netflix. So that's kind of the area you get that going on.
All right.
That's really about it. Or excuse me, I like eating food and watching USN. Yes, that's what I do. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Much better.
Yes.
Much more on brand.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 7 Spades already found 2 rounds initially, but it appears that Chips and Guac have more or less set up what their answer is going to be for that. I really don't want to take that as the end-all be-all round of really what their idea is to try and counter out 7 Spades, because right now it's more or less off of heroics rather than strategy and set in stone methods of play. Because that last round was literally all just, hey, we can kill people at longer ranges with an SMG-11.
Yeah.
Especially that shot into lobby. That shot was magnificent. Magnificent by the mute.
Mute being played by Rudy there. Nearly the single force that saves Chips and Guac in that previous run. So we'll see if he can bring just as much firepower to the table here for the 4th round, or if we're going to end up with something different. Either way, 7 Spades move in. They should be able to get relatively straightforward admin control. There's only 1 player up here. It's the Mozzie, I believe, way on the other side, closer to like console office, and he's already rotating back through yellow. So upstairs control not going to be an issue at all here for 7 Spades to get at the beginning of the round.
Well, they are going to have the mute Mozzie combo, and that combo is amazing at getting rid of information on the offensive side. You really have to watch your drones and use those EMPs accordingly to try and get rid of those mute jammers, as well as those pesky pests that are haunted by a lot of drones' memories, the likes of Mozzie. And actually one of them's going to find, no, never mind, canceled that. It is actually going to be Mozzie that just removes it instead of capturing it. Rather kill his prey than claim it for his own.
Yeah, I think he missed the pass that he tried to throw, so yeah, tried to get it instead on the ground, but instead of completing the rotate back downstairs, either didn't get the call that the garage door had been opened, or thought he was clear as he gets picked off by Sonar, trying to rotate back through to cafeteria.
All right, well, panel 1 now getting some work from Sonar with his last exothermic charge, and obviously no one going to be there to stop it. Really, you would have to put a mute jammer on prior to the charge being detonated to even have a chance. But they do still have some EMPs, actually all 3 of them, with Mean. So he's going to open up that Evil Eye, destroys that real quick, and now they're good for plant, and they have all the staircases locked down. Rocking a hard place right now for Chips and Guac, as literally anything that they can possibly do right now is more than likely going to be met with lethal force, especially with that Claymore getting placed down at the top of Spiral. Zest, though, will begin to fight back. Can he claim a second? No. Quite a few shots going to land in Motive, but it won't be deadly just yet. He's to rotate back. He only needs to hold yellow. He does not need to die on that hill. Throw on the other end of things is all the way downstairs, actually, in Locker Hallway. And he'll find, Zest as well. And it's going to be left up to 2. It's going to be 6 as well as Billboard inside to try and hold this down. And as soon as I say that, the life will leave Billboard's body. It's up to 6 versus 4. We've seen it done before with this exact same weapon. The ult is so good in these instances. Still has 52 bullets in hand as well, or rather in mag. So the diffuser will be confirmed down. Does still have to find 3 of these kills, though, or at least enough to start things off. All these angles being held properly by the likes of 7 Spades. It's more than likely not going to be done. It's definitely not going to be done now, as 6 will fall. And these post-plants instances for 7 Spades are actually really well kept. Holding down every single angle from different areas is working out really well for them, especially with using that buck still upstairs inside of Piano to lock down the diffuser.
I think that round also shows us why you can't just play a static defense either, because that, for the most part, is what Chips and Guac tried to do, similarly to how they won the last round on it by playing that more static defense defense on the second floor. They failed to forget that it was the heroics from Rudy making the play in a piano was still the main reason why they won that previous round. We didn't really see anything like that when they played into the basement here, so they just had pretty standard positions, and 7 Spades handled it exactly as you'd expect. They take it nice and slow. They have people, they have 2-3 people holding angles on the common spots the defenders play into, and then they slowly just pick them off one by one.
Yeah, honestly, it appears that Chips and Guac really don't even know that 7 Spades have feet. Like, they just don't. Like, literally, Zofia just walked into lockers, punches the door into the hallway, and gets granted a free kill by Doc. They're just not recognizing out that the players have feet and they can move. They're not all going to try and contest you just from the open garage door. You guys need to recognize that out. Try and put some assets in different places, because right now you're literally just getting punished for playing passive on site, as Blue said. You can't do that. You got to try and fight for some map control. 7 Spades literally has all of it before they even spawn on the map.
That's a big failing of Chips and Guac's defensive setup right now. Unfortunately for them, they've only really got 2 rounds to figure out how to fix this now, so we'll see how they attempt to do that. They are at basement once again. Attacking lineup has remained relatively similar, although we do have the Twitch in once again, along with a Buck to play a little bit better into the basement. Besides that, things are staying pretty much the same as they started the half off with. We still have that upstairs presence from players like Rudy this time. It was their Mozzie on the last round, so it wouldn't surprise me too much if we see Rudy wrap back downstairs. And Mozzie ends up being the one to play upstairs instead, which I think is going to end up being the case here.
All right, well, one did have a disconnection from 7 Spades.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to get it figured out right now. I think it's too late into the round, if I remember the rulebook correctly off the top of my head. I haven't had to have this in just a moment, so it appears... Are we going to confirm it? We're waiting on it. We're waiting on it. Anyways, we'll just jump back into things. They do have a motive on the Twitch now instead of the IQ, which might work out well for them. They're already going to get one of them destroyed, but there's quite a bit of utility on Chips and Guac's side to destroy both of these or steal them, and not going to matter as both of the shock drones are going to be eliminated immediately by the likes of Zest on the dock. And this is the difference. Chips and Guac actually have quite a bit of map control now, and they have presence on the mid floor, which is what they've been lacking. They're going to have the mute of Rudy as well as Doc getting played by Zest, holding down this mid floor. Now, Motive does practically have a cheat code weapon in the likes of the F2. It's so damn good, but it's not going to matter as it will be Zest from distance with the MP5 to claim a life.
Because he forgot the code.
Yeah. Hey, look, Konami code you can never forget, man.
All right, so 7 Spades now go down to 3. And obviously, as you guys could probably tell, this round is just going to continue play for the time being. Mean's going to be able to pick up 1, but Temper is their second layer to trade it back. So 7 Spades go down to 2 now. Noski
hello?
just has the read on his opponent inside of the little security room right there. Tries to wrap for 1 more, but Temper upstairs cuts him off before he even gets the chance. And Chips eat Guac. Pick up another round.
I like how you're dedicated to calling them Chips eat Guac.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Is that not how you say the Y, like in Spanish? Like,
yeah, it's eh.
Is it?
Eh.
Oh, I thought it was E.
No, it's not E.
Oh.
That's so Americanized, man.
That's my bad then. That's me just not knowing how Spanish works.
Definitely not the Spaniard.
No, I mean, I took like 1 semester of it in high school, so...
I could see you on a boat. 100%. I could see you as a Spaniard.
Wait, on a boat?
Yeah, I could 100% see you on a boat.
Oh, okay.
Being a Spaniard.
I don't know what boats have to do with it.
I have no idea. Literally just made it up. But welcome back to the desk, guys. Anyways, we'll try and break down a couple of the rounds that we saw prior. So it appears that Chips and Guac are now trying to fight back on their defense instead of what was happening before, where they were more or less just giving up map control, even on their Teller's archive split, which is really weird. Traditionally speaking, we see people obviously try and contest over a lot of areas of the map, or that's more or less the job of the roamers, is to just be annoying, waste time, and possibly get some kills in the process, but we haven't seen too much of that just yet. We're hoping that they switch that up for the future. We've already seen it in that last round with the likes of Mute and Doc, and they were able to get kills off of it as well and really throw a wrench into the things that are happening on the offense. So if they're able to continue to do that, then I see them more than likely getting at least a few more rounds and possibly winning this, because it really didn't appear that 7 Spades were playing close enough together for refrags. So that might become a detriment.
Yeah, we'll see how things pan out, because it's looking like Chips is slowly figuring out how to play this. It's just a question of whether they figured it out too late or not. The last round may have been a little bit of a gift to them, having to play it 4v5, as like we said before. 7 Spades is still doing really good, especially like an early round right there, and having the man down certainly helped their case with trying to close down that round with a little bit more ease. So they bring it to 3-2 now. We're going to go into one final round in just a second here in the 6th. So either a 4-2 or a tied 3-3 half between the teams is what we're going to end up with. And we'll see how this pans out for both of them. 7ven Spades, though, still has definitely the dominant position, in my opinion, for this one, as Chips has been taking a long time to figure out how to play this defensive game. A lot of how the rest of this map is going to go is going to be determined probably in the first round or two of the second half, when we see how the flipped sides compose themselves for each team. As if we see 7ven Spades with just as much control over the map and, general success with their aggression, I guess is a good way to describe it, on their defenses, at least when compared to their attack. I think they're going to have a pretty easy time shutting it down in the second half, but we haven't seen those sides yet, so we can't really talk too much about it. We have to wait till they switch and see how exactly that's going to pan out.
Yeah, I think right now for the offense of 7ven Spades, they just need to continue to run a tight ship. Because initially, everything was working out for them. They were playing close together, refrag potential was there, and there wasn't too many holes in their offensive strategy just yet. Granted, obviously, you can always have the side argument of, okay, well, the defense just really wasn't doing anything to try and mess with them, especially on their console office defense, where, as we said before, it was just Rudy with an SMG-11 trying to hold down Yellow Stairs, and Yellow Stairs plays a massive piece into taking down that site, as we saw later on, where me and Rudy just rotated up and was able to claim free lives. We got some replays and highlights for you guys while we're trying to get these guys back in the lobby, and you're more than likely going to see this round, where it is literally just mean
going off,
destroying everyone. Everyone died. It was not. He's now a murderer. He's getting arrested after this match. It was not good. Either that or he runs a morgue. I don't really know. Lots of body bags.
So
you're welcome.
We had this interesting run out from Zest as well, where he kind of got caught in a really awkward position. I think he had Noski on rappel when he made the run out, so from our spectator point of view, it looked a lot worse than it actually was, because he got some good damage on the Noski, but just never actually finished it off. Motive as well tried to make a run here. This is the first time we saw Gypsy Guac have the appropriate rotate, more importantly have that downstairs piano pressure, be able to stop the Yellow Stairs push from 7ven Spades that really was not stopped in any capacity in previous rounds. Then they went down to basement. Same issue again. We're playing too static of a defense and didn't have that hero factor that was present in the previous round when they played the upstairs sites. So as a result, 7ven Spades just kind of walked in and had every appropriate angle from the attacker's perspective and slowly just isolated out the Chips members one by one.
Yeah, we've already talked about it quite a bit. When you guys are inside of your games or competitive, ranked, what have you, when it gets down to that instance where they're fighting for sight, you have to do something to try and fight outside of that box. If you don't try and fight outside of the box that they have created for you, that's the best way to describe it, then you're more than likely just going to die. And that's what we've been seeing quite a bit on their defensive set, where they just give up free map pressure. There's no real way for anyone to now rotate out of sight because they've already been put inside of said box. And then you just get destroyed. Unless you're in a dramatic fashion able to just murder everyone on the offense, there's no real way out of it. Again, it's a lot of rifles with ACOGs holding tight angles, and you have an SMG-11, an SMG. The only rifle on defense is the 416C, and it doesn't have an ACOG. So you're more than likely going to be fighting with an SMG with an ACOG with your 3 armors, or you're going to be trying to run into it with an MP7 with Bandit or something else. It's just not a place you want to be.
All right, guys, well, here we go. We are live once again. And once more, we do apologize for that delay, but we've got everybody back in the server now and can hopefully continue without any further interruption. We've got the last defensive round here for Chips coming onto the board now. They've gone back upstairs for it one more time. 7ven Spades on the attack. Have switched their operator lineup back to something going to work a little bit better for this site. Switching out the Thermite to a Hibana. Gridlock back into the fold for them one more time as well, in addition to the Buck, Thermite, and Zofia that have been here in previous rounds.
All right, well, this is going to be the last round before we have rotation, which means the defense is going to go to the offense is going to go to the defense, so on and so forth. Last time they didn't hold down yellow, which is the area that they were punished, and it appears that Temper is trying to fix that. So he is going to be, at least for the moment being, standing here. Zest waiting for a spawn peek, but obviously not going to claim anything, as we're obviously able to see through walls, and he is not. No ADS is dedicated to the top of yellows. Actually, they're going to just completely abandon it, which, again, this could really, really mess them up. But it appears that 7ven Spades has different ideas, as they're going to the east side this time and not the west. So could be a little issue in droning. They don't have anything to try and counter out these drones this time around, so could help them out quite a bit.
Motive still kind of hunting around the balcony windows right now. He's got to be careful for it. There is quite a few players from Chips kind of lurking on these angles, ready to take a duel with him if the opportunity should arise. including one player, I believe it's the mute once, or excuse me, the smoke, sorry, that's sitting incredibly close to that balcony. He's going to be keeping eyes on it. Admin control is gifted over to the attackers now. They will pop open the staircase wall from the other side and see if they can start spotting out any players from here. Besides this, we've got a good amount of anti-roam downstairs to prevent someone from chips by going for a yellow stairs rotates. So now 7 Spades are set up. It's time to see how they can actually execute now that they have the positioning to go for the sights.
Well, shooting him high into the sky inside a projector is going to be the Zofia, making sure that no one is in behind the desk or the bomb chassis, so they know now that A is clear. If you guys did not know, those lifeline impact charges, or excuse me, concussion charges, are actually proximity based. If they're close enough to somebody, they will automatically detonate, allowing you to gain information as well as making your gunfights a little bit easier. So that's why Thoreau shot those so high into the air, so they would be able to go over the desk just enough to go off if somebody was close enough. They will be able to identify out someone's coming up spiral, and it appears they want to try and get rid of that man right now. Oh, and very nice shot from Rudy, predicting that the man was going to peek, removes his head for him, making this a little bit easier. Throws about to get into a gunfight, but it's going to be the Doc of Zest. Oh my God, what a reactionary shot from the Doc. Only 50 seconds left. They have to try and get this diffuser down. It's in Habana's hands. It's going to be Sonar. Motive is already in sight, has projector locked down, but it gets mowed down by 6 on a hole laying inside a bathroom. Shot from underneath as well. Everything in the sky is falling down around 7 Spades, and it's going to be Billboard to put an exclamation point on round 6.
Big highlight of that one was early round. Once again, nowhere near the amount of success we had seen in past rounds from 7 Spades right there. So they are forced to make really risky decisions, somewhat questionable ones at that give Chips a lot more opportunities to frag out there and overall have a much cleaner round for themselves as they now tie us up at 3-3. And we put 7 Spades on the defense, no longer with the kind of dominant lead it seemed like they were going to bring to this half.
Yeah, and honestly, you can't even say that was off of heroics. It really is just 7 Spades playing into the hand that Chips and Guac had set, or at least the trap that they had set. Very smart underneath impact as well that came out. That I really don't know how exactly it happened, because I think Habana more or less rotated over an open hole, and that's what happened. We really didn't get to see the entire strain of what happened inside of projector, but I can tell you it was literal brimstone and hellfire, because there was just literally holes everywhere in the ground, smoke grenades, tracks, everything was going on inside of that room. That was ground zero for that last round, but it was definitely Chips and Guacs on the delivery end rather than receiving.
So Chips, some good defense finally being put up for them. They, unfortunately, like I said before, they kind of ran out of time to make those adjustments. They still only end up taking it to an even 3-3 at halftime. But now, of course, they have a chance to make their impact on the attack, and first place off the strike is going to be the basement here. We've got 7 all set up, ready to play into it. A little bit of extra defense being set up by Motive here on piano rooms that continue to play into this. You also notice that the hatch is going to remain reinforced inside of the bathroom, so they won't take too active of a role here, except for probably the early rounds, since they don't have that retreat option and are more so trying to deny the attackers of that angle.
An extremely far roam game here for 7 Spades, all the way upstairs. Utility dedicated upstairs as well, which is a good thing. You want to dedicate utility to help out your roamers. You don't want to just put them on an island and say, hey, go kill stuff. That's not how things work. So, good looks by 7 Spades so far, but here's that Billboard, and the rest of Chips and Guac have a possible answer for it. They are having Billboard currently entry by himself upstairs, which could prove to be a big issue. They do have complete and total control of the west side, though, on the other end of 7 Spades. And Zest pre-firing literally through a door as Sonar's going to stop and stare at the door for literally no reason, all except to catch a bullet. But Billboard will be refragged. So it's equal right now, but very weird to just stand there on yellow and stare at the door. Again, it's rich mahogany, I guess. I don't really know.
He's got a smell of it, you know. It's really into that smell of the wood or something like that.
These are some really nice panels. Really nice panels.
Some top quality lumber, right?
Did you hear that knock?
Yes.
Oh my God, yes. Okay, cool.
So, bit of an interesting kill there for Chips, but hey, they'll take it. And we did see a trade come out from 7 Spades a few moments later as the Buck, probably roaming somewhere upstairs, still got caught. So he is going to end up going down. Down to a 4v4 with 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. Stuns trying to go into the bathroom as they did try to bait them into it, and so far that plan has worked to a certain extent.
This is the things that aggravate me inside of Siege, when, even when commentating. When someone dedicates utility, Rudy, when you dedicate utility, you have to capitalize on said utility usage. Otherwise, you literally did nothing, Rudy. You did nothing, Rudy. You concussed bathroom twice and go, hey, there's people there, and they're still there. You didn't kill any of them. You guys just now know that, yeah, maybe there's some people inside a bathroom and I concussed them twice, and now it doesn't matter.
They also have free rotate back down to yellow stairs now, because I don't think attackers have pressure on yellow stairs.
No, they don't. So dedicating utility like that, very poor look for Chips and Guac with that. They're going to try and just sprint into sight. Throws there to try and counter it out, but Rudy will claim a life before he dies. Super shoddy above, and this is going to be the S7ven Spades show so far. We'll finally equalize it out. It's Mean as well as Throw to try and bring this back into action. Mean will continue on as this man's been showing out, as well as Throw. That's going to be a double kill for both of them to end off here in round 7.
Great play from S7ven Spades in the bathroom, trying to bait out the attention over towards it, and while still keeping the hatch reinforced as well. So managed to get them off of the pressure towards Piano, and in general the first floor, try to re-execute with 4 players through Garage, and then an easy rotate for those bathroom players. Back down through yellow to just pick them off, and overall lead to a bit of a mixed bag on the attack there from Chips. S7ven Spades probably should have had it a little bit cleaner, but it got the job done anyway, and now they take the lead back at 4-3.
See, Rudy, if you just would have moved into the bathroom and shot the man, he wouldn't have killed the rest of your team.
Yeah, I mean, they were stuck in there. They saw, like, buckle off or something like that.
It's like one of those movies where, like, the female character has, like, the murderer in her sights and has, like, the gun up to his head, and he's like, I know you won't do it. And then she just drops the gun, and then he kills her, and you're like, oh, okay, that was great. Like, you can't be doing that, man. Come on. Come on. You got to trust your shot, Rudy. You got to get aggressive, or at least get a teammate in there. That would have been way better. Get a teammate in there, say, concuss them once, go, hey, we have info that they're in bathroom. Let's execute. Moves up into the antechamber hallway, concuss again. That guy pushes, you're on his tail for the refract. Easy. Easy said and done.
All right, so for Mean, a good start on their defense means they'll continue to rotate around the sites back to upstairs now. We saw Chips play into this site quite often with a bit of a mixed bag of success themselves, so another opportunity here for the guys on S7ven Spades to find a bit of better impact and run 2 out of 3 of their preferred sites before they even give Chips a chance to pick up a round here. Camera toss out from the Valk. It's actually going right up on top of the balcony here. Probably going to get spotted pretty quickly. That was a little low, so it's not going to be hidden too well.
Tosses another one out, and we have all of the black eye cameras set up, and we do not have an IQ on the offense, so those are more than likely going to sit in place unless obviously they see the telltale glowing sign, which is the blue LED circle, instead of those black eye cameras.
I think the Buck got one. See,
they're pretty default. Like,
yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't get it.
No,
he has all 3 of them. Yeah, if I could count correctly that quickly, then yes, he got all 3 of them.
Okay, so didn't get it. I saw the Buck pre-firing it like something in the tree, so I guess he was just trying to go for a more default setup. One doesn't end up landing it, though. So no cams down at the beginning of the round, meaning extra intel to the defenders. In the meanwhile, attackers already working their way in. Rudy has already gone through admin. There's pretty much no defense set up on it from S7ven Spades. They're trying to play much closer to the site in yellow stairs, so Chips are going to be allowed to walk in pretty easily into that first, choke point.
All right, well, drone works now coming out for Chips and Guac, taking their time, which we haven't seen really either of these teams do so far. We did see that a little bit from Chips and Guac earlier on in the last round, but besides that, it was S7ven Spades to start things off initially, and it's going to be again, but not this time with a C4. Instead, it's going to be trades back and forth, and Billboard will actually stay alive this time. And now we see exactly how good these track stingers are, as the Jaeger is not really able to find an answer. Sonar chooses then to rotate back over to yellow, which is probably a much better idea. Chips and Guac now, though, have all control. We're here on the east side, all the way up to at least the vending area. We do have Motive trying to hold things down inside of A. He's got pressure from balcony, and that's not good. Your entire desk has been destroyed. Trying to play the bomb chassis, but it's not going to matter as Rudy will claim his life. Sonar rotating up spiral right now. Could throw a wrench into things of the offense, but it's going to be Mean initially on with those toxic babes to claim yet another Sonar now, as well as the rest of his roster, still holding things down, holding down meeting. That's really the only play that Chips and Guac have. They have to try and battle out of this. They really don't have the angles or the utility. Both impacts already been used by Rudy. And again, those tracks are really good at flank watch, but they're not going to be very good for much else. They're trying to switch things up. You see Rudy going downstairs to lobby, and that's exactly what they need to do. Possibly try and send somebody yellow. Don't try and just sit here and watch time constantly rotate down or roll away from you. That's really not what you want.
Even cutting off Spiral, I think, will give him enough room to go into Projector. Maybe not through.
Yeah, it'll help out a lot, actually, if they
door,
killed him.
You still have the Maestro.
He just went, okay, he just rotated back up to balcony, and this is just going to be really a shooting range for Nosk.
They needed Yellow Star's pressure to deal with Nosk specifically. They're going to try to throw him off now, but yeah, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
7 with an easy closeout there. No pressure on them at all from Yellow side, so they aren't really under pressure at all, to be honest. And there you go. They shut it down.
Just not very good by the offense. I thought that they were going to shift Rudy across, especially when we saw him rotate and he opened up the lobby door. I was like, okay, he's going to go yellow or he's going to go spiral. He's going to try and kill one of the people who are obviously holding a tight angle onto meeting and make this a lot easier for his team. But he didn't do that. He rappelled back up to the balcony, and that was just not the play, man. You got, again, this is what we're talking about. When you start, on the offensive side, if you start to stall out, you have to make a shift. You can't just lay down and just wait for the timer to roll, because on the offensive side, the timer is never on your side. It never is. It's always in the defensive favor. They want to try and waste as much time as possible, and especially in those instances where you're talking about 40 seconds, that's so easy when you have a smoke up, man. It's so easy, and that's exactly what we saw. They had to try and get aggressive. Smoke was already ready for the play, had an answer with the SMG-11. Jaeger picks up another, and that's all she wrote.
So, 7 Spades, again, starting off strong at the beginning of the half. 2 rounds going pretty decisively into their favor. And now it's time to see, again, Chips and Guac. We need to see the change-ups happen now and thankfully get a little bit of an easier sight for the attackers anyway to do this on. As we're going to go lobby piano for the next round in the third point on the triangle here for 7 Spades' defensive setup. As after this, they can go back to the basement again, as it will be unlocked after 2 rounds of play since they won it.
Yeah, things starting to get away from Chips and Guac now. It just seems like their team isn't very coordinated. It's not that they have bad players. They definitely have plenty of talent, especially Billboard. Billboard, former pro, and surrounded by quite a few good players.
He was on
He was on Hat.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that Hat was the team that upset Rogue in stage 1, wasn't it? Yeah, so.
Yep, that's actually his org as well. So, fun facts.
So Hat's
fun facts.
Specifically Billboard, already with a good amount of history here in USN, and taking down like pro level teams. So
yeah,
not a bad rap at all. Just not able to bring that type of firepower to the table, at least not with this roster so far. We'll see again. So they had good adjustments in the last half. It's time to see it again though for the attacker. These need to be up more drastic, especially when Sonar is able to make plays like that. Leaping outside, finds 6. That's going to eliminate their anti-roam capability by knocking out the gridlock so early in the round.
Yeah, you can't be too happy about that one, and Sonar's going to try and continue that train. He's going to do quite a bit of damage to Rudy, which has been a good conversation piece for the offense so far, and Bill's going to meet the same demise as Sonar has literally gone nuclear. The man's going to get 4! Can it be the ace? Oh my god, Sonar putting everybody on skates. It's only Temper left alive. He's got to try and pick up the pieces, but they've all been smashed to pieces by a sledgehammer. Sonar is going to get docked up. This is his ace. Valkyrie's going to get taken down, but more than likely it's going to be all for naught. He's playing out by the lobby. If they get this info, they're going to send a Sonar like a fucking rapid dog. Oh, excuse me, like a rapid dog after this man. That was an insane round. Literally insane round. Apologies for the French, but my god, that man, truly insane.
All right, so Temper.
Wow. I hate me. Anyways.
Temper's going to try and do something. Big emphasis on try. As he does not have a lot of positioning to do it. In a moment, though, Sonar, is he going to get the lineup for this one? The push coming upstairs. Sonar wants this ace so bad, man. He's got the drone against him there, so he's got to be a little bit careful of that. He's going to take the peek. Oh, denied, though, by Temper. Oh, Temper, he's got a minute to do this. Granted, he's at 50 HP, so not the best odds, but he's close to Diffuser. He can pick that up in a second. And there you go. I mean, if he can get to a site now, he's got a real chance at this. This is not over by any means. This would be the craziest round, though, if he could pull this off.
Yeah, but here's the issue. The site is downstairs.
Spotted by camera, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the site is downstairs as well. It was not even upstairs, as I joined the Yeti Club. So, there we go. God bless it. I hate me, man. I hate me.
Either way, a great round from our Jaeger player.
Yeah, Sonar was literally insane that round. That was extremely impressive. Extremely impressive. Especially that gunfight against the Habana. That was insane.
Mm-hmm. And so
they'll laugh at me. Oh, man.
You've crossed the line, Stokes.
Yeah. In half.
Someone will have a word with you after today.
Yeah, I'm fired. It's fine. Okay.
You'll never work in this town again.
Shut up. You're not helping. It's all good. It's all good.
We'll get over into our next round, which once again, this has all been 7 Spades all day. And in the last round, all Sonar all day for the most part, at least 80% Sonar. As they're going to be able to move in. Like I said before, they're going to go back to the basement. Now they've unlocked it for play. And we'll see if they can get the clean closeout 4 rounds consecutively on the defense, or if Chips has any response whatsoever to this. If they can pick up even a single round here. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it, or if this is the end. At least for now, for Chips E. Guac. And we'll see them hopefully again next week if they can claim this position once again and make it to the semifinals through our last open bracket.
Yeah, again, last time they got upset just a little bit, but Parallax actually went really, really deep. So we'll be seeing them in our close qualifier later on as well. But 7 Spades is going to be trying to join them after getting defeated by them last time. And making pretty quick work of Chips and Guac as well. Really capitalizing on their errors. And I think that the error right now is that they just find themselves safe in any instance. And you're really never safe inside of this game. Especially with the likes of 6, where he got immediately punished outside. And just not a good look overall from Chips and Guac. Again, I think that they need to play a little bit closer together. They now have Rudy on Ash instead of Zofia. So a little bit less utility, but a lot more frag potential with that R4C.
Let's see here, 7 Spades. Setting up in the basement once more here. Got a good matrix of defense set up. Got a player even roaming all the way up to 2nd floor once again, but Zest's not going to waste any time, just going to pop this door open. Thankfully, there's no resistance on that via a Bandit or a Kaid, so no problems at all. They'll go right in. What? They're rolling in. Zest already with the opening pickup as Sonar had to do a bit of a double take. Noski goes down. Motive, Billboard all picking up kills here, but it's all Chips working it out down to a 4v2. Mean's going to bring it down into a 2v3. Motive looking for another addition to this. Now it's been evened out, down into a 2 versus 2. Mean still trying to pick off more players from the inside of security room, but Motive's going to get it instead. Now on a 2v1. All on Rudy, and it seems the rush plan has not worked out. They did not get it onto the ground. Rudy trying to bounce the flash off the corner. Motive dodges it. He's behind the car, has the angle to pick up this last kill and the damage, but no, Rudy gets the double and closes it out for Chipsy Guac instead.
Well then.
That was quick.
Yeah, that was a round. So
that was literally like a rush.
Congratulations on not joining the Yeti Club. I got like 3 DMs and everyone was like, "Hey, you need to set up some memes tonight." Well, we're making the Yeti Club now. That's the meme for the night. But no, it's some insane plays, especially from Rudy. I mean, he really picked up the pieces, and that's exactly what they needed in that instance. So it might be better that he was playing Ash, to be completely honest.
Now, the issue is you're not going to do that twice. So what's the plan for this round?
That's what you think, old. The time is now, old man. It could happen. It really could. But it appears that they're going to be setting up for this flank this time, or excuse me, for this rush this time around, especially with Nosk on the mirror. That's really what that's going to be showing to me, at least. It's really just the writing on the wall.
As I said, you're not going to pull that off twice.
Yeah, because it's going to make it a lot easier to hold down sight from inside of that small office, unless Nosk is going to set these upstairs, which you've seen a lot. But you can also hold down the small office downstairs with those black mirrors. So, but that's definitely not going to be the call. So we saw Nosk rotate up yellow. So everything that I just said, take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't really matter.
We've been flashing the scoreboard quite a bit, folks. Just want to know we did have a reset over the course of this match. These stats are incomplete at the moment. We should have the full stats, or at least some of them for you, to highlight a few players at the end of the game. So if you're curious about stats, stick with us until the end of the match, as CGG is going to be helping us out with that.
All right. Well, match point right now is we're entering round number 11. Mid-hold once again for 7 Spades, which actually worked out for him last time. Chips and Guac with that rush once again. That ended up not working out. It was bearing fruit at first, but then the tree died. So it looked really, really promising. That was the issue as well. And just again, 7 Spades having an answer for apparently everything right now. And they're definitely going to have to try and find an answer once again, because it appears that Chips and Guac are going to take their time instead of what happened last time with that quick rush, as we are going to have 6 droning out yellow instead of running immediately to the garage. But it's going to be an extremely actually a very large blanket hold by the defense. The Sonar's all the way over inside a break room. Trying to get a flank off. Is that you? Oh, the drone work's going to find him. This could be very, very bad. He's going to. Oh, Rudy with a very nice shot.
Good isolation, finds Sonar, prevents him from doing much. Not really much that he could do in that situation. Had no reinforcements in the room, and they knew exactly where he was, whereas he had basically zero intel on the attackers at that point. Same situation here for Motive a little bit. Drone work's actually really good early around here from Chips and Guac. That's 2 players roaming around that they've been able to completely isolate and force out.
All right, well, now they have all top control. That's a good start, but they still need to get that mid floor, especially Piano. If you guys are newer to Siege, Piano is a massive, massive piece to the puzzle, especially on this cafeteria site. You can actually break open the entire floor and peer down into garage, which is exactly what you're going to want to do with the likes of Billboard. Keep him alive, keep him safe, put him inside a Piano, let the man do work.
Time to tickle some toes.
Sorry, I just heard that out of context. We are going to see the push work their way in now. Still not a whole lot of success being found by isolating out that second roamer, who I believe was the castle before. He's still safely made it back down to the site as far as I can tell. In the meantime, it's gone pretty quiet here for Chips and Guac as they're still trying to set up their execute, and unfortunately haven't had much luck in getting any kills or to further that goal, but they've got the garages open now to play off of. They've got some positioning over towards yellow stairs, but that's still mainly controlled by S7ven at this point, so that's not going to be the easiest angle to push, and they're under a minute now, so Chips is going to start getting stressed here pretty soon.
As you said, the time constraint starting to catch up with Chips and Guac. Need to start breaking open this floor, but they do still have one proprietor staying in wait. Inside a bathroom. Oh, Castle. Oh, what a shot from Motive. Removes the head from the shoulders of Billboard. And that could be it. 6 has an answer for him. Rudy's going to continue to tack on. And now Rudy's just warming up. That's a triple. It's all up to Mean, though. Can he shut him down? That's a quad by Rudy as they draw closer and closer to tying things up and pushing this to overtime.
Not over yet. The rush round seems to have reinvigorated Chips. They're back into it. Another successful round on attacking the basement here, meaning that S7ven, well, they can play it again, but that's 2 rounds in a row. They've lost it now. Do they stick with it, or do they try and switch things up as they need to close it out here? Chips has taken it all the way to round 12, end of regulation, and they are not. They're going to go back upstairs one more time to see if they have better luck here in closing out the match 7-5.
We've gotten some pretty interesting rounds so far. Like that round right there, they had a very, very good top take, but it more or less just fell apart once they got to the mid floor. They didn't put any support with Billboard. Granted, the castle did get immediately refragged, but that was more or less on an aggressive peek towards yellow because they obviously got the call that someone was on yellow. So trying to hold the man's rotate upstairs, but instead it was 6 holding the angle and not the castle. So it gets punished for that. But it breaks on down the line, and it's S7ven Spades trying to pick things back up downstairs where Chips and Guac had all the angles in the world and ended up winning it out. So as we draw ever so close to overtime, it's either we go to overtime or S7ven Spades walks away into the TBD matchup later on, which is obviously going to be one of these 2 and one of the 2 from the next match. It really calls into question, can they possibly shut down Rudy? Because over the last 2 rounds, the man has gotten 6 kills. Or did he have a triple on the previous round, excuse me? I think he had a double. It was just the last 2 kills, I believe, with the Ash. So 6 kills over the last 2 rounds, which is definitely impressive.
Finding quite a bit of impact, and now it needs to come to a boil here. It's going to be a little bit of a harder site to attack, though, so it may not be as easy of a task to pick up that much firepower. We've got Throw also trying to play very close to the admin windows here, which...
You can't jump out of those, by the way, just to make sure everyone knows. You cannot hop out of this. You can definitely throw a nitro cell, though. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not going to find anything. He needed to be back a little bit farther for the proper angle. It actually goes pretty far out. But speaking of pretty far out, it's going to be Sonar all the way outside, and that's going to be Billboard's demise, which means no more soft destruction, all except for Rudy.
He'll make it back in through yellow stairs, so no one from Chips and Guac's going to be able to catch him. Unfortunately for Billboard, who had fallen due to his push. There was really no other pressure besides over inside of admin, which is essentially the opposite side of the map from where that kill happened. So no luck in getting that traded, at least not for now. So we're going to go into a 5v4 favor to 7 Spades. Still a lot of pressure on yellow stairs for them. This is the same problem Chips and Guac had before, was they had no problem getting admin control, mainly because 7 Spades weren't defending it for the most part. But now, this is the issue, is they're going to have to try and get into the site without that alternate angle, and if they try to do it, you know, in this one-dimensional fashion, it's probably going to go the same way. Look at this, Sonar finding another pick, this time closer to Visa, as they try to establish those other angles.
That's exactly what they're going to need to try and find anything, as we are only a minute and 20 seconds in, so they do still have plenty of time, but as you guys see, they've already lost one of the limbs of the offense, or at least 2 of them now. Gridlock as well as Buck have both been eliminated. Granted, Pierce at 6 has gotten down a little bit of his utility, but you'd much rather have that gun up, especially as this timer continues to tick down and 7 Spades continues to apply pressure. Motive, the next 2, find a kill, and it's all left up to Zesty as well as Temper.
So I'm pretty sure Zest heard Sonar trying to destroy the track stingers and get inside of Tellers, so they know he's somewhere near admin, but it's even just him being here is causing issues.
Oh, no.
That's an awkward spot to be. Not even his fault, couldn't even see him from the other side, so he's gonna leap back through that real quick. Zest, in the meanwhile, is going to try to take a duel on entry to Projector, but it just won't work out. This is a kind of an awkward situation for Sonar now because he can't really leap out there and play into that, and yeah, he's just going to end up having to run through more of these things. It's down to 50 HP now, and he's only taking damage from the track stingers, so they've read into his rotate towards Spiral, but the problem is there's someone else at Visa stairs now too, so there's really no winning this situation at the moment for Chips. So there we go. They get Noski, of all people, who takes a duel from further back. Throw. A bit of a delay on the reaction there, but still gets the kill on against Zest. And now it's all on Temper, who will fall behind the long desk. Motive gets the final kill, and that's going to be the end of it, ladies and gentlemen. 7 Spades pick up the win, and they will go through into our final match of the night.
Pretty interesting matchup, especially with the likes of Chips and Guac, which really just could not find an answer to 7 Spades throughout the map. Made it really close, though. Some very interesting plays by Rudy. Initially, we thought, you know, here's that Rudy's kind of lacking a little bit on that frag potential, but obviously he changed a lot of people's minds with that, especially with that double kill clutch up with the flick from Black Car all the way up to the landing. So very impressive stuff on both sides, but obviously we got to have a winner. This time around, it's going to be 7 Spades.
And we take a look at some of our replays throughout the match. It was quite a cool game when it came to the individualistics. You'll have some interesting clips coming out of this one, mainly from players like Mean and a few of the other ones here too. Mean, in fact, had quite the crazy round here as he was able to pick up an ace in the early game and had quite a bit of impact overall in the early game, even away from that.
Did you say clips?
The what?
You said clips, right?
Yeah.
Make sure to get those in for that Venmo community spotlight as well. If you guys have any interesting Rainbow Six Siege clips, make sure to use those. We'll get that URL for you later after we finish up the replays and stuff. But again, while we're talking about it, make sure to get those in, because if you have anything interesting, like some crazy clips we saw right there, especially from the likes of Rudy, which we had some very impressive rounds by, make sure to get those submitted. But overall, I think this really was a 7 Spades show, and after they established that pretty early lead, it was more or less their game to lose. There was no real showing signs that things were going to slow down. I mean, we did have that rehost that could have thrown something into it, but it really didn't at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like 7 Spades on both attack and defense really seemed to kind of have control of the situation, with really, I would say, only about 2 or 3 rounds being the exception from that, which, hey, that's just about as many rounds as we saw Chips and Guac pick up. I think they ended up like 5 over, or pretty close to 5 overall at the end of the day here. So they managed to sneak one off because of a 5v4.
I still want to know what he was doing right there.
Yeah.
Sonar, what are you doing?
I'm trying to think like what he could have been doing. Like,
did he? I don't know if like he just.
I honestly almost want to say lag, like, or something like that.
No, I think that he just accidentally shifted his fingers off of his movement keys or something.
Like he just got on the keyboard.
He just got absolutely railed through a reinforcement, or through a door reinforcement. Yeah, just not good. That was truly insane by Sonar.
Tipped
that round
over
was
his game fuel.
Yeah. I wish he would have got the ace in that round. That would be the only thing that could have possibly made that any better. But those 4 initial kills were something I'm not going to see again in that exact same content.
And again, in the closing moments here, we did manage to see them get control over it. So 7 Spades, like we said before, is going to be moving on into the next matchup, and they will face off against either Dark, Zero, or Rise. It'll be our next matchup. It'll winner of that one will go on into the conference closed qualifiers for the East Coast, which only has 2 more slots left. We've already qualified 2 teams from previous weeks. We've got 2 more slots, 1 to be claimed today, 1 to be claimed next Thursday, and then we'll have our 4 teams locked and loaded from each region at that point. So we'll also have the Western slots closed off for our closed conference qualifiers to start the week after that. Should be a lot of fun.
Definitely should be a lot of fun. You know what else is fun?
What?
Interviews. So let's jump right into one, shall we? Nosk, how's it going, man? How are you?
Yeah, how's it going, brother?
Finally you found a win on the USN desk. How you feeling about it?
Feels good, especially because we lost against PG last USN semis. It's good to come back and win.
Yeah, you guys had a pretty impressive matchup, especially against Chips and Guac with the likes of former bros and things along those lines on that team. So overall, your guys' defense seemed to be extremely aggressive. Was that kind of the game plan to throw them off of what their set strats were?
Yeah, we just let Sonar do whatever he wants on defense, basically. He's a really good roamer. He's really good with Jaeger, and he just always gets kills for us.
Yeah, we could definitely tell, especially from that quad kill that he somehow found in Flag Hallway. That was extremely impressive. On your guys' offensive sets, though, you guys also more or less picked apart Chips and Guac, where they were playing more passive and trying to play Turtle on site. Did you guys more or less just put it into info game and say, okay, let's drone things out initially, then just try and force site? Or really, what was the idea behind that?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. We just droned site, and we pushed from there.
All right, well, last but not least, who would you rather go up against in this next matchup? You either have Rise Nation or Dark Zero. Who's your favorite to win it, or who do you guys think that you match up better against?
I would have to go against DZ because they've proved to play not as well against puggy teams, like lower tier teams. And I don't want to play against Factor. He's just going to drop 16 kills on me.
Yeah, Factor's kind of scary. We were talking about that earlier on. So especially, did you see his stats from the minor?
Yeah, I did.
It was, yeah,
he's a beast.
Yeah, Factor's pretty scary. So actually, we got time for one more question, and then that should be it. So we have the Raleigh qualifiers going on right now, as I'm sure that you know. They're actually live on quite a few channels right now. Who do you think's going to end up winning out through those? There's quite a few pro teams that are currently playing in there, but who do you personally think's going to make it through those qualifiers?
I think one of the underdogs that's going to make it far is Pittsburgh Embers. They're really good. We play against them a lot, and they play really well.
Yeah, we actually had them on the desk a little while ago, and they were very, very impressive, especially with their utility usage as well as management of that. So, all right, my man. We'll see if we'll possibly talk to you later on, but first of all, you're going to have to beat one of these teams that we're going to be casting up next. So we'll see you later, Nosk.
All right, see you later, man.
All right, thank you very much, Stokes, for that interview. And now it's time to talk about MVP. Stokes, I'm going to let you go first today.
You're going to let me go first? I get the first pick?
Yeah, so, we can't have the whole stealing issue from Tuesday.
Oh, well, my MVP is Sonar. Stop trying to warm it up for you guys. Mine's Sonar, obviously, because of some incredible plays, as well as forcing me to join the Yeti Club, as we saw. So, 9 and 7. Granted, with the kills, you really can't discount that. His impact on plays were the things that I'm talking about rather than kill spread and everything else. So he had some plays that were extremely impactful, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters to me when picking an MVP. He had a round that was incredible, as well as a couple other rounds where he really was that tool that ended up winning them the round.
Mine was a little bit different as we get mine on the screen here. I had Mean. There we go.
You're mean.
Yeah. What?
You're so mean.
Have I?
No, you're a nice guy.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to know. So I picked Mean Green because I think he did really good as well, and in fact he did. Entries obviously wasn't his forte, but we had that ace at the beginning of the map, if I remember correctly, from him, and I think he definitely tapered off in late game, in my opinion. But when it came to early game, he really shined out and was there, constantly picking up those impact frags and making sure his team stayed ahead in some of those more decisive rounds they were winning. He was a large part of the reason why they went so well, and as such, he's my MVP pick.
Respectable. Very respectable. I think that both of our MVPs were pretty damn respectable, especially with the likes of Mean, and we'll see it right now. Mean top of the leaderboard in terms of kills, and Rudy right behind him, which we saw Rudy really, really warm up for Chips and Guac later on, but it just was not enough comparative to what S7ven Spades was bringing to the table.
Yeah, not at all. Cost as well. We definitely saw Mean dominate the scoreboard on that chart with an 83%. The next highest player in the server was his teammates and his opponents, going into 67%. So a very good cost percentage overall for him to play into. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to close out this first matchup. We've got plenty more coming your way, however, here at the USN to cover our Eastern Conference Open quals once more. We're going to have Rise going up against Dark Zero. That'll be our second match, and it's coming up right after this break.